Like if I am a woman who doesn't have kids, what does that mean about me? What do I think or feel about myself? What do I perceive others are now going to think about me? The belief might be, I'm going to be an outsider amongst my friends and family if I don't have kids. And so again, taking a deeper look at that and really looking at our own beliefs. And then if there are ways to reshape those such that they will serve us better. It's like by really looking these things in the face, so to speak, it can help us clear the way, like looking at our monsters and demons and saying, okay, who are you? Then we can really start to actually connect with what we want because we're clearing away the weeds, so to speak.
Yeah, that reminds me, a lot of what you're saying, I feel like is really steeped in mindfulness work and that belief system of like noticing what are the stories you're telling yourself about this? What was that soundtrack in your head? And then I really love Byron Katie and the 4 questions about like, is this belief true?
Yeah.
Can I absolutely know it to be true? And then I think it's like, what if this belief wasn't true? It allows you to really settle with like, what stories am I telling myself? What realities, quote unquote, am I painting for myself that might not actually be there? And how can I reframe this and not even like reframe, but like take a new perspective and take a new seat in the way I relate to these societal stories and these stories that are in my mind.
Yeah. I totally agree. And I love Byron Katie's 4 questions. Those are so good. And they could be so good for doing this sort of beliefs work. I want to add that I think there's a point that we can get to with that where intellectually we know or believe something else. So we say, of course, it's fine to choose a child-free path, for example. However, it's something else to really like embody that and to feel it. And I think for a lot of us, it's more of like an emotional or even physical sort of sensation that we have that like something is amiss or something feels unsafe. And so there's no one size fits all solution for that, except to advise that like there are different modalities that we can sort of employ and that it's something that takes time. And I also think it's about compiling the evidence, as I say. I like to think of myself as a bit of a detective. Like how can we like put on our magnifying glass or seeing eye and think about what evidence do I have to support a different belief? So if we say it's fully normal to choose the child-free path, to look at, who do I regard as being like a very normal, healthy, well-adjusted person if you want? Of course, we can also look at what is normal. Do I want to be normal? But like really looking at assembling a new way of viewing the world based on experiences we've had, based on people we know, based on all these other things that we know to be true that may be outside of this arena. Like, for example, if we feel really fearful, to ask ourselves, when have I felt really fearful making a big decision and yet it served me well despite my uncertainty? And so knowing I've done this before, it's okay for people not to like what I choose. Oh, there was that time I switched my program at university and I dropped out of med school and my parents were pissed off or whatever. That can then reinforce like, yeah, but that served me and that was good and that was hard, but they got over it or they didn't, but like I dealt with it. So
yeah, developing that deep sense of self-trust within yourself.
Yeah, that's a big piece for sure.